Welcome to Local Edition. I'm Bella Shaw. The Santa Susana Railroad Depot in Simi Valley was the hub of activity back in the early 1900s, and Colleen Janssen joins us. She's going to tell us about all this history, and this was a gathering place, and now everybody can see it.
Absolutely, Bella. The Santa Susana Railroad Depot and Museum. The depot was built in 1903. It was the railroad access for anybody coming into town or leaving town on the railroad.
Trying to get out of town.
Yes, it was on LA Avenue near Tapo. And what happened was in the 1970s, they decided to stop using it. Southern Pacific Railroad wasn't going to use the depot anymore, so we went in and bought it. And since it was scrapped, we got it for $1.06 tax.
Wait a minute, 6 cents tax on $1. That
Yeah,
seems
right.
pretty steep.
Yeah, it would be nice to have 6 cents tax these days. And then we packed it up and moved it up to its new location, still on the Southern Pacific Railway, but up off of Catherine Road, and spent $100,000 renovating it.
So what cost $1 ended up costing?
Yeah, quite a bit of money, but it's beautiful now. It has a museum in it. The waiting area has been converted to have mannequins in it, so it looks like people would have looked in about the 1930s. We have a wonderful railroad exhibit where the trains run. It's HO scale for people that are into trains. And people can come on tours on Saturdays and Sundays from 1 to 4. Just show up and you can take a tour through the site. If you want a group tour, you need to call and make an appointment, and we can set up a group tour. And wonderful location, wonderful museum.
A lot of field trips coming through with students?
All sorts of different age groups. And in fact, I was there one day, they were having an open house, and I walked into one of the areas, and a lady was standing there holding some papers, looking at them, and I said, "Can I help you?" And she says, "Oh no, I'm just waiting for my turn at the window." And then she stopped and she goes, "That's a mannequin in front of me, isn't it?" And I said, "Yes, that's why I thought maybe you needed help." But that's how great the display is. The mannequin she thought was a real person waiting at the window to talk to somebody.
What are some of the other historical things that we can see?
Well, the train exhibit itself is really neat because it's not just a train running around. They've recreated a lot of the Simi area and surrounding area. They have Corriganville Park where the movies used to be filmed, and it has little tiny characters with little movie cameras filming a Western, because that's where a lot of the old black and white Westerns were filmed. And then they have other areas that you could go through that look like forests or look like the town. It's really, really wonderful. So, and then they have a train on exhibit that somebody had from, I don't even know how many decades ago, an old Lionel train, one of the big ones people used to have years ago. They've put that in a display case, people can see it, and a lot of people come through and say, "I had one of those when I was a kid."
What about the railroad crossings and things of that nature?
We have a crossbuck with, when they turn it on, it goes ding, 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 so people, you know, we can teach kids about not stopping on the railroad tracks and being safe around railroads. We have semaphores. We have a lot of the old railroad memorabilia.
What are semaphores? Learning what crossbucks are.
Well, the semaphores basically tell the train what they can do next, where they can go, what they can do. But we also have a train orders pole. And that's where you used to have this little thing that flipped out that had a paper tied on it. And as the train went by, they had to reach out and grab that piece of paper as they went by. And so the engineer would grab it in the front, and the guy back in the caboose would grab it, and it would tell them whatever was coming up or whatever message they needed to convey.
So if they missed it, they were in big trouble, weren't they?
Yeah, that would be pretty bad. They also had to know how to use Morse code. So the train operators, the station operators really had to have a lot of knowledge to run the train stations.
Well, remember that little piece of paper that came by?
Yeah.
It's telling me time's up.
Oh, no.
So good to see you, Colleen Janssen, for joining us here on Local Edition. And we thank you as well. We'll see you next time right here. I'm Bella Shaw.